What is up, everybody? It is Mr. Hamilton. Welcome back to the couch. Today we are doing the review of The Conjuring. The devil made me do it. So go ahead, pull up a chair, get comfortable, grab your safety blanket or whatever, because let's talk The Conjuring on the couch. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, starring Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. And I believe it's directed by Michael Chasev. I forgot his name already. I literally just got done watching this movie maybe an hour or two ago. Had to sit on it and think about it. I like this movie. I like what they did with it. I prefer it over the second Conjuring. So for me, it would go Conjuring 1, 3, and then 2. That's how I would rate it. I like all three. I do like this one better than the second one, though. Before we get into the review, spoilers, guys. So if you have not seen this movie, click the X and go check out another trailer reaction, movie review, unboxing, whatever. There's something for you. Stay on the page, though. I forgot to update this. We hit 100 subscribers, guys. Thank you guys so much for getting me to 100 subscribers. I appreciate it. I love you guys. I didn't think that I could get here this quick. It's been a matter of not that long, actually. So I actually have to look at the timeline. It's maybe been 6 months, if that. Yeah. It's been since my birthday, at least. I can't remember. But anyway, you guys, thank you guys so much. And we're just going to keep going. Now we're on the road to 1,000. So if there's 900 of you that are watching, please hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Thank you guys so much. Back to the review. So the Warrens, they have another case that they're involved in to help solve. Well, actually, in this one, they were trying to do an exorcism of a little boy named David. And it goes right and wrong because they're doing it right and everything like that. The priest gets knocked out. Ed goes to do it again. The kid completely just fucks off his heart. He has a major heart attack. But his brother makes the mistake of trying to be the big brother and tells the demon to come into him and everything like that, which is a big no-no. The demon does it, but he lays dormant for a while, so he doesn't really mess with him or anything like that. And then one day he just comes out, snaps, makes this kid freak out and kill somebody. And so in the court that they try to prove that you could claim demonic possession, saying that I was taken over by the devil, yada, yada, yada. And according in the movie, that it was done, or it was brought up in the UK, but it was never successful. I want to look up and see if there's any successful murders that got let off with under the assumption or the other thing, or proven that demonic possession was the reason. So this is actually based on a true story. The Warrens are real. If you guys don't know, Ed and Lorraine Warren Ed is passed, I believe, but they were paranormal investigators. They started, investigating possessions, hauntings, stuff like that. They're the ones who have the Annabelle doll, the original Annabelle doll. You can look it up. It really is in a glass, and you're not supposed to touch it. It's supposedly one of their most haunted, demonic items in their collection. Why you would keep those, I don't know. In this movie, they kind of explain it, but it's more like explained on this other priest. He was doing the same thing, but instead he was taking some pretty dark shit away from people. Like, they were taking away like things that had been possessed. He was taking like dark magic and Satanist ritual books and all types of dark stuff away from people and locking it in his own thing. And that ends up coming to bite him in the ass later because he has a daughter and he tries to keep her away from it. And it ends up becoming her obsession to figure out what it is. And so that's how she gets into that. And she's, kind of the backbone of this whole story. So they're out. The Warrens are out trying to prove that demonic possession can be a reason for somebody to commit murder, and so that they're not in their right mind. It's somebody taking over their body. And then they start finding out that there's this whole cult that was happening. Somebody's been playing a curse, and so they're on the case trying to solve that. I want to talk a little bit about how I like the way this movie was shot. For scary movies, for me, there's ways you shoot things, and there's pictures and stuff, or there's scenes that have to grab you, like the ones where the kid is freaking out and the red lights are flashing, and then it stops, and then the monster comes crawling towards him. Just the scene where he's looking up and you see like the red lights, and then the way it kind of like cuts out and everything like that. I like how they did that. I also like the shot where the warden, the chaplain of the prison, is trying to perform the exorcism. He's not even really trying to perform an exorcism. He's just praying because he's freaking out. And the camera kind of goes behind him as the kid's being lifted up. And it's just a crazy thing because you see him upholding his crucifix thing, and or his cross, and he's holding it like this, and then the back is from the back, so you see him like this, and then you see the kid, floating in the air. I thought that's a pretty cool scene. The whole underground chasing was dope. Like when she goes, and then there's like multiples of her, like the mirror dimension type thing that was like kind of like foreshadowed in the beginning when the dude types over the camera and he like it points at the TV, so it creates the infinite reflection type thing. It was also cool. But at the same time, there's only so much you can do when it comes to scary movies that everybody has seen. The lights turn off, and you kind of have somebody standing there, and then they'll like either like turn around or back away, and the monster standing right behind them. The one shot that I really did like, though, was when Lorraine is in the forest and she goes into her little psychic thing that she does, and it switches from day to night. Like, I love it. I think how they did is how I would have shot it. Is that they probably had a light like on like a tracking thing to get the shadows to like long, like from going from day to night, and they probably just tracked it across like behind them to where they could get the shadows to do that, and then they probably turned the light from natural to whatever it was to get the light of the moon type situation. So camera this way, the lights move either probably sideways or behind, and it gets that, and as the camera comes down and the lights move and that like that. I would love to see the behind the scenes on that because it looked dope. Storyline was cool. It does get lost a little bit when they kind of do the little side track thing when they're trying to find the other girl because the curse needs 3 different bodies, one by murder, one by suicide, and Ed becomes the third piece. I kind of get lost in that a little bit. I kind of wish that sometimes more of the more intense parts would have been longer instead of so short. But all in all, it's a good movie. The storyline is really great. The storyline is dope. I like it. It keeps you, except for that little part, it does keep you engaged. You want to know what happens next. It's almost like a mystery. Which kind of brings me to my next point. This movie isn't necessarily scary because the jump scares in this aren't huge. They're not like the first one. The jump scares and the horror in it were very suspenseful. And that's why number 1 will always be the best Conjuring, because James Wan knew what he was doing. When the music cuts off and you don't know which way to look because the camera's going to go this way, the camera's going to go that way, or it'll fake you out, or you see it before they do. And just the way the first one built that sense of dread and helplessness and fear, like it's scary. It's scary. I still have a hard time watching the first one because of how intense it is. This one dials this horror and that the jump scares back a lot. Like, don't get me wrong, there's like, like the scary images and stuff like that happening, but that sense of horror and dread from the first one isn't necessarily in this. It's like, to be honest, it's more of like a mystery crime solving thing that they put into a horror element, or they put the horror element into it. It's like, because it's honestly like, who got murdered. Somebody's on jail that we want to make sure that they get free because there are extra circumstances that happened. Somebody and the bad guy needs to be caught, and that's literally how it is. But then they just add in the fact that it's in the supernatural, that there's demons, and all that type of stuff, possession and everything. And so it's like kind of like that. So it's not necessarily scary, but the way the story goes and the way it happens, like, it keeps you riveted. It makes you want to watch it. It makes you want to know what happens next. I really like it. I honestly would love to see that either as a TV show or as another movie series. I do know that this is the last Conjuring, I believe, at least with the Warrens in it, because I know the lady Vera Farmiga who plays Lorraine Warren, she said that this was going to be her last one because she has definitely felt things follow her home, or like weird stuff happen to her, which that's kind of why I got out of watching horror movies so much. This is the first horror movie I've watched in a long time, because I do believe that if you open your mind and to like this type of thing, like, you open your life to be susceptible to these type of things, because now that you're into it, you've opened that door. That curiosity killed the cat type situation. And so I think that's what happened to her, is she's doing all these things. And here's the thing. Like, I always wanted to be like a horror movie director, but then like I started thinking about it. I was like, you can't sit over here and do a set and put up candles, put up the exact same things that would like real people would use for like a cult or like a ritual, like a Satanist ritual, and be like, oh, it's for a movie. No, you literally drew a pentagram in the ground with candles, set it up exactly how it's supposed to be set up, and had somebody do the chants and stuff. And then you wonder why like weird stuff is happening. Yes, it's for a movie, but you're still playing with it. Like, it's like a movie. Like, yeah, it's a movie, but you're still playing with explosives. You're still blowing stuff up. There's still fire. There's still danger. It doesn't matter if it's a movie or not. And I think that's what happens with these movies, is that, yes, you're still playing with dark forces. And so she started feeling those things, and so I'm pretty sure she's like, you know what, I got to back up out of this before it becomes something real. But that's what I was saying. I would like to see it in like a TV show or something. Like, if they could do like a Conjuring spinoff, like, I'm pretty sure there's movies out there like that. But if they did something that was like the Warren cases, you know what I'm saying? And they kind of dived into different cases that the Warrens had, because they have so much stuff in their little weird library that I'm pretty sure everybody has questions about. I want to know about the samurai helmet. Like, how is that, possessed or haunted? So if they could do something like that and go into like these mini stories of what they did and how they got all these different things, I think that would be cool. But it would definitely be different actors, because obviously they want to be done with The Conjuring. I would want James Wan to produce it. Like, he had a hand in, directing or producing this, but like this guy, he did a good job. But once again, it's not number one. Number one still is the scariest. The reason why I like this one over number two is because number two was good. Don't get me wrong, but there's sometimes it just really went off the rails, and like sometimes the horror was too forced. Some movies, they force you to have jump scares, they force you to get scared. That's kind of what number two was. It was still a good story. They could have cut some of it out. That's still another true story. There was a documentary on them. It was a family out in like Great Britain or something like that, London, and they had a haunted house. Kid gets possessed, all that crazy stuff. So all this stuff is real. Like, you can literally look up the stories that these are paralleling and do your own research and find out what's really going on. This story right here actually has my attention, just because I want to know what happened. Like, obviously he was, spoiler alert, obviously he got convicted and he was in jail for 5 years, but he's still married to the same lady now. But, you know, I just kind of want to know, like, what happened. The scariest thing about this whole movie is the end, when they play the actual exorcism tape and then you see the pictures and stuff like that. That gave me chills. The only time I got chills was at the beginning when they did the opening, and then the whole, you know, the Conjuring, you know, title comes out, and then at the end, that's when I got the chills, is when they played the original tape from it, you know, allegedly. But yeah, I don't know what really else to say. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I did. There wasn't very many boring parts, and, you know, it keeps the ball rolling. Honestly, they could have pushed it into the 2-hour range, and, you know, maybe like the ending could have been a little bit more longer and intense. You know, there could have been a little bit more stuff going on. But other than that, I give the movie an 8 out of 10. Like I said, Conjuring 3, it goes in the middle for me. Conjuring 1, 3, then 2. That's how I rate them. But I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. So you guys, let's start a conversation. Hop in the comments. What did you guys think of the movie? What was your favorite parts? Were you scared? Was there anything that scared you? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? Yeah, let me know in the comments. What didn't I like about it? Like I said, that little side story about with the girls and stuff like that, you know, kind of took away from it. The whole, like, callbacks of them being young, cool. Didn't really need it. Other than that, everything else was cool, you know. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that, honestly. Every time I do these, like, as soon as I hit unrecord, I'm like, oh, I forgot something. But I think I said everything I wanted to say. Yeah. Once again, guys, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. We are at 100 subscribers, 100 plus right now. So we're on to 1,000. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching the content, giving me your guys' feedback. The channel is going to change. It will not be called Mr. Hamilton anymore. I think I'm just going to change everything to be called On the Couch. I'm going to make a new Instagram and everything like that, so you guys will be able to follow it a lot better. And also, I'm looking into Patreon. I said I would do this at 100. I'm going to look into Patreon so I can do better, like movie watch-alongs, TV shows, and stuff like that. So if you guys want to do that and support the channel, let me know in the comments. Would you guys be down for a Patreon? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Once again, guys, thank you guys for joining me on the couch for another movie review. I am Mr. Hamilton. Peace.